Welcome to Doodles with Pinkee. I'm Pinkee, a full-time dreamer, part-time artist, and lover of all things cute and creative. This is your space to learn, grow, and have fun with art, so grab your favorite sketchbook or tablet, hit that subscribe button, and let's create something amazing today. So today, guys, we're going to be creating this super cute little bear. He is going to be a bonus for my patron members this month, and you're welcome to pop on over there if you'd like. You can join for free for other tutorials. We do something every week on Tuesday. This just happens to be a bonus for a little step-by-step, but we're going to create it here in this video as well. So I'm going to follow along and we'll see how well we do. Okay, so we're going to start by creating a rectangle, which I know is weird. Most of the time, I start with a circle, but today we're going to use a rectangle. I am just using the 6B pencil that comes with Procreate. I just happen to make mine a little bit bigger so that you can see it a little bit easier. Then we're going to make a smaller rectangle below. This will be for the scarf, and then still a little bit smaller, and this is going to be more of a square for the body. Feel free to make mistakes, erase, redo, whatever you like. It doesn't need to be perfect. This is just for the rough, and that's step 1. Step 2, we're going to lower the opacity. We're going to add a new layer just to make it a little bit easier for everybody. I'll also change the color I'm using. Next, we're just going to round everything out and create some more basic shapes. So starting with the head, we're going to work inside the square, or a rectangle, I guess. And we're just going to round it out, give him a little bit of a rounded edge. Again, this doesn't have to be perfect. In fact, I think if it's a little bit off, it gives them some character. Next, we're going to shape out the scarf, just to give it a little bit more life to it, I guess, or less rigidity. Now onto the body. What we're going to do is we're going to create a little archway from one side from the bottom to the top. So you're just going to pick a point a little bit on the inside, and then you're going to join it up with another, making sure to pass through the side of the square. Again, this is rough, so if you mess up like me, you can just redo it over again. Tap 2 fingers on the screen and that will undo. And again on the other side. Perfect. He's looking chubby. Then you're going to pick the spot where that line ends at the bottom of that square, and you're just going to bring it in and make a little hook for the feet. Again, this is all rough. It doesn't have to be perfect. For the hands, we're going to do 2 ovals in the middle of his body. Again, super simple here. Very rough. Finally, we're going to add in some little ears. You can make them as big or as small as you like. Just start with either some circles or some ovals like I'm doing here. And that's step 2. Now I'm just going to do the exact same thing, create a new layer, lower the opacity here, and I will change my color again so that it's easier for you guys to see. Let's go with pink, just because. Next, we're going to add in some more details and kind of shape it out a little bit more. For the hands, we're just going to do a little curve at the top and have it meet in with the top of the oval. Same with the bottom, but we're going to curve down. You can even add some little paws or claws there for him. And then again on the other side. Perfect. Next, we're just going to finish off the legs. So we're going to bring them up just a little bit, not very far. He's got tiny little legs. Adorable. We're going to work on the scarf. I'm just going to do a very basic line in the shape that I want it to go. And then finally, we're just going to kind of sketch out the ears a little bit more. I want mine to be a little bit flatter at the top. And that's step 3 done, so it's now time for step 4. Again, we're going to create a new layer and lower the opacity of the previous layer. I'm again going to lower the opacity of the others just to kind of keep it easier to see. I'm going to make it a dark brown so that you can see even more. We're just going to finish up. I have a little hair tuft. You can add one as well. You could do whatever you like, really. I just did the same that I already had, but you could add like a little floopity doop down below as well if you like. Whatever you like. You can change them up in all kinds of ways. I did almost like an upside down little heart shape for inside of the ear, and I just thought that was really cute. Here's where I want to make sure that I do sketch in any details because I don't want to forget about anything either. A lot of times I'll be like, oh, I'm going to do this, and then I forget all about it. So if you are like me, feel free to sketch as much as you like. And of course, always use the undo. We're just doing a sketch. It doesn't have to be perfect. I'm just going to put his nose in. Really, it's like an upside down jelly bean. And then his little mouth, I just think is really cute. He's so cute. You can use the canvas in order to make sure that you've got the right amount of space between his sides of his face. Again, you know what? If it's a little bit off, I like it. I like it so much better when it's a little bit wonky. But you can use the grid to make sure that you line everything up properly. It wouldn't be any different than if you were creating your own guidelines on your bear. I just think it looks so cute if it's not quite the same. You can do the exact same thing just by doing a T mark on the face. Next, we're gonna just keep on going. So I'm gonna add in cheeks because I don't want to forget them, and also I just love sketching in cheeks. I think they're so sweet and cute. I gotta do it. I've been really into like folk art kind of, so I'm gonna add a touch of that as well to his forehead and just give him some like little fur lines. Again, I just don't want to forget those kind of little details. Next, I just want to finish up the scarf. I'm going to give it a little bit of detail because I don't want to forget some cute little lines. But then I also want to round it out a little bit more and kind of make sure that the face is going over it. Just give it some more of those details that I don't want to forget whenever I'm actually creating it. I also make the cheeks a little bit more in the finished sketch as well, in the finished line. I do little tweaks here and there, pretty much from the beginning to end. To do the scarf, you're just going to really follow along that line that you did. You're just going to offset it a bit. You can do it like I did there, or you can do it on each side and make that the middle of the scarf. The way I place things, I always end up doing it this way because it just happens to kind of work out that way. That's kind of where it ends up being. You can do it either way. The point is you're just going to trace along to mimic that line so that you can create your little scarf. And then I also want to make sure that I remember the little tassels. And then of course you want to add on the other little trailing end of the scarf because that is there. It's just a little bit hidden. Again, just round out your lines, just get them nice and the way you want them to be. My scarf's hanging a little weird, like it looks kind of very like stiff on the side, so I'm trying to fix that a little bit. I end up changing this quite a bit before we do the actual inking. Mine just wasn't coming out very well. I'm again just tracing over the lines that I like the most, just kind of cleaning things up. Sometimes when I have multiple layers and multiple lines, I just find it easier to just really make sure I know what I'm going to be tracing for my line art. So I'm doing that with the hands as well, making sure that I remember all those little details. Even the ears, even though I didn't do a lot with them, I want to make sure that I've got the line that I want. And again, I'm being very rough with this. I'm not being very careful. Even with my inking, I'm not super careful because I just like that look. Okay, so we're going to lower the opacity of our final sketch. I'm going to put a layer on top, and this will be my inking. I'm still going to use the 6B pencil. It's just what I like. It gives it a little bit of texture, and I do like that. I didn't keep any of my other sketches. You're welcome to do that if you like, but for the purposes of this tutorial, I don't need it. So we're just going to ink. I'm not being super careful with this. I'm being selective of the lines that I follow, but I'm still keeping it not rough, but not super perfect. I like my doodles to be just a little bit rough and just a little bit like they look like they were hand drawn. I have a lot of details here, so I just want to make sure that I get the details I want to ink, but I don't ink the details I don't want to ink. Some of those are just going to come with the coloring. You need to undo just tap your 2 fingers on the screen. It will undo the last thing that you did. If you hold it down, it'll undo continuously until you take your fingers off. It is a trusty tool to have. Okay, next we're going to color it. So we're just going to do a new line, a new layer, mind you, and we're going to move that underneath the line art layer. And I'm just going to grab some of my kind of pre-done colors. So these ones I think are for apple, and I will get to coloring. So for the first part, we're just going to fill it in with the base color of our bear. Now, my sample is lineless. However, I did just do a whole live stream yesterday just on doing lineless coloring, sorry. So I didn't want to do that again today. If you are interested in the lineless, I'll put a link to it for you so that you can check out that video. It's a lot of fun, but I just thought since we literally just did that, I would go for a line style today. And I just want to move my sketch layer on top so that I don't forget to do any of those really fun kind of details I put in there. For the top of the head, I'm just going to change the layer to multiply, and then we're going to just create the top. We're going to do the little hairs in a different layer, and then that way it will show the darkness as well, the difference of the little fur. But I am going to include the ears as well as the little tuft of hair at the top, and then I'm going to adjust the layer until it's where I want it to be. That may not be at 50%. It may be at 100%. I don't know. It changes. You'll also notice I'm not being very careful here. I've gotten outside of the lines, but it's easy enough to fix. Just click on the layer and hit the clipping mask, and it's like it never happened. I'm gonna put that layer down to about 50%. And next, I'm just looking at the line art, and it just seems to be really dark. So I'm gonna mess around with that. So 2 fingers, move it to the right, and then that will put the alpha lock on so that you can change the color yourself. You just fill the whole layer. Now I'm going back to coloring. I'm going to color in the muzzle with a little bit of a like off-white color. I think that looks really cute. And I'm going to give him a little bit of a belly as well. I am going to put the lines right through his hands because I can delete that after the fact. And this way it's cohesive. It looks like the 2 lines would actually meet up because they do. So we're going to add in those little fur details. I'm going to do another layer. I'm going to choose the same color that I did originally for the skin and go from there. I'm just going to draw them in each one by one. Now, it doesn't have to be exactly the same as the sketch. It is just meant to be a guideline, and I'm just going to lower that a little bit more just to make sure that it is still what I want it to look like. I'm going to create a new layer, and I'm going to color the cheeks. I'm going to kind of scribble these in. I don't actually want it to look too perfect, so I'm just going to quickly put in the cheeks, one on either side, and I think that's pretty darn cute. I'm also going to use the cheek color as the color for the scarf. That way I'm not using too many colors and it all kind of fits in together. I'm just going to move that layer underneath his chin. I just feel like that looks a little bit better and I can be a little bit messier. You can zoom in and see I have a little bit of overage that I don't like, so I'm going to get rid of it. I'm going to show you a little trick. So you just put your finger on the little square and then touch your pencil to where you want it to be. It will help you select the layer and then you can erase what you don't want. I don't have many layers, so I mean it was pretty obvious which layer, but when you've got a ton of layers, that comes in real handy, especially when you've got like a little speck of color somewhere. I'm going to do a clipping mask and then choose the multiply for the layer. I'm going to fix up the outline a little bit more, and then this is pretty much it. Once I've gotten every little detail in there, then I think I'm pretty happy with it. One little trick that I'd like to show you guys, to get the kind of vibe that I'm going for, I'm going to create a whole new layer after I've merged all the layers. Now you can create a whole new duplicate for your file so that you don't mess anything up. If you're worried about that, I'm not worried. So I'm going to merge everything, create a whole new layer. I'm going to choose one of the things. I'm going to maybe multiply. I don't quite know yet. But what I'm going to do is I am just going to flood fill it with a color. It doesn't matter what color. Each color kind of gives a different kind of vibe. I'm going to use pink because obviously. And you can see there that it is covering the whole thing. So change it to a clipping mask. I'm going to get rid of the reference image. And I'm going to just play around with the opacity, but then also the different layers. You know, instead of normal, I'm going to change it to multiply. I'm going to change it to different things until I get the look that I'm going for. This is just one of those things I do from time to time. I don't do it all the time because most of my colors now are pretty in sync with each other and pretty good. But if you're not quite sure on what kind of color scheme to go for, this really just kind of makes it all look cohesive. And I mean, I didn't play with this very much. I probably would want to do a little bit more with it to get the kind of colors that I want. But it's a really fun way to kind of get a different look. And sometimes it just looks, it really makes it pop, you know? So a little tip to keep in mind. But there's our bear. I think it turned out really, really cute. I hope you liked it. There you go, guys. I hope you learned something. I think our bear turned out super cute. If you did, please do let me know in the comment section below what was your favorite part of this little tutorial here. As always, thank you so much for watching, and thank you so much to my amazing patrons. You guys kind of drive me nuts each month with the things that you ask me to do, but then I'm the one putting them in the polls, so who can I blame but myself, right? But I do love you guys, and I really appreciate the support. Bye!